password manager. Then you don't ever have to make up the passwords, you don't have to remember the passwords.
We're getting to it.
Okay.
Slow the roll.
So,
Quick question.
yeah.
Do you trust this company?
No.
Thank you.
No. So Kaspersky, yeah, they're a Russian company. No, I don't trust them. So,
I'm tired of seeing that ad.
Sorry, Ellie.
Yeah,
but I do like their little analogy here. So Hotel California 88 star, given the average home computer,
Months.
take 2 months. Well, that one.
1 second.
Yep. We are the knights who say me. We're yours. Okay? Big and strong, keep them private, use unique passwords, change them regularly. I implore people to appreciate this prompt. Rather than, yes, it's a nuisance, I had to do it yesterday, I had to change it on my work computer, I had to and put in my new credentials on my phone, my home computer, my Surface. It's a pain, it takes time. But learn to appreciate this because it's there to keep your data safe. And to the password vault, this is awesome, okay? Does anybody here use a password vault, LastPass?
That's gonna be my next question. I was just gonna ask about that. If you have like 7 different computers, all
Yep.
7 different passwords, and that's just your computers, and then
Mhm.
now your email, and then like
Yep.
it's.
A
it's
password manager makes your life far easier. So here's the way it works. By the way, LastPass, for home use, single computer is free. For a business or professional version, I think it's $20 a year.
But even the other ones aren't very expensive, like 1Password is like, that's a couple bucks. a year.
Dashlane,
Not bad.
RoboForm, there are lots of them out there.
Yeah,
Are they
Is there
safe?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's my biggest concern.
Safer than the alternative. You can read on their site about the precautions they take and how they encrypt your data. We're also going to talk about two-factor authentication, which is really important.
Is there
Okay.
one better than another, or do you prefer, it doesn't really matter?
I use LastPass. We actually use LastPass in our entire company, and I'll show you how that works. So when I log into LastPass, okay, I have my username and my master password. That's the only password that I have to remember. And it's going to be something complex like we are the knights who say neat. When I log in, I have about 200 passwords in here. Everything from Pandora to ABC Mouse for my kids.
And so you use a different password for every single,
Yes.
Because the password manager makes them for you. They make it long, complex, you don't have to remember it, you just put it in, and it saves there forever, well, until you change it.
So here, look, if I go into edit one of these, this is what my password looks like.
it gives you this. It provides.
So it will generate the password for you, and it will remember the password for you. So all I have to do is remember my master password, and once I'm in the vault, correct.
And more importantly, it encrypts your password for you, so your password is stored, safe.
And when I log in to LastPass or any of our critical systems, I get a prompt on my cell phone saying, hey, you're logging into LastPass based on the IP address, you're in Las Vegas. I have to touch the yes. And that password that I just showed you, estimated 10,000 centuries, because it's so long and so complex.
But you have to transfer that password, then when you log into your TV, into Netflix, you have to take that friggin' long password and put it in there, right?
Yes, but you can do it. You can log into, I'll show you. I'll
Okay.
show you. You can log into LastPass and it'll do it for you. So there's a LastPass browser plugin. So when I log into LastPass in Chrome or in Internet Explorer, when I log in, this goes from gray to red. Here I'm at Meadows Bank, and it says, right, here's the 3 dots, and it says, I recognize 2 accounts that fit this website. Would you like me to fill that in for you? And I say, yep, fill it in. When it comes time to change my password, I click the lock with the circle and say, create me a new password. Generates a new password, and if I say fill, it actually saves that new password to the vault. And if a site doesn't allow 30 characters, it only allows 23, I can use the slider bar to reduce or increase the number of characters. Very, very easy to use.
You mentioned Internet Explorer.
Huh?
How safe is that as a browser compared
I don't
to
know.
everything else?
I haven't used it in years.
Okay, because they're no longer being supported for security or anything.
Yep.
Just want to make sure nobody uses Internet
Yeah.
Explorer.
Okay, so I've got a nice little video here that's going to show you exactly how it works. Okay, so I'm going to use this video to give you a demonstration of how LastPass works. So here you can see the red square with the 3 dots, which shows that I'm logged into LastPass. And for demonstration purposes, I'm going to find, now I have over 200 accounts stored in here, and I'm going to find my Chipotle account. You can see my password is super strong, because clearly I care about securing my burritos. And now, to show you how I would actually use it, I'm going to go directly to the site, order.chipotle.com. I'm already logged in, so let's sign out. Now, I go to sign in, and see here, because I'm logged in, the red square with the 3 dots, the square with the 3 dots shows up here as well. It fills in the username and the password for me, and I can sign right in. You can also see here that if I want to change my password, I can click this is a picture of an icon of a lock with an arrow, or a circular arrow around it. Here, I can adjust the length of the password. I can remove uppercase, lowercase, take out special characters if I need to, etc. And if I click fill, it's going to make that my new password, and a little pop-up will appear from LastPass saying, would you like me to store that password for you? And just to show you what it looks like when I'm not logged in to LastPass, it will have the LastPass square grayed out. And if I try to go back to that same site and sign out, if I try to sign in, because I'm logged out, it will not offer to fill in the username and the password.
So you,
Does that help? Make
so
more
you
sense?
essentially, when you get in the morning, whatever, turn your computer on, and you know you're gonna be using those accounts, you
Yes.
just leave that LastPass open.
And it times you out after, I believe, an hour of inactivity. So I sign into it regularly throughout the day.
Okay.
But you're just remembering that one password, that
Right.
one long password, and that's it.
So when I go to lunch and I come back, I have to sign back in.
How does that work with your smartphone? Does it?
Great question, thank you. So with the
Because you have
business
like
of,
an app, like Chipotle, for example, you've got an app instead of going to the
So-
site.
on my cell phone, so I logged in yesterday on my cell phone to my financial advisor's wealth management platform. When I click the username field, it says, do you want me to, LastPass pops up and offers to autofill the credentials. And I use the Google Pixel with the little fingerprint thing, and I can authenticate with my fingerprint to LastPass. And it fills it in on my phone, logs me right in.
So you just download that app.
LastPass, yes.
I'm not sure how LastPass works, but like with a lot of them, they have a way to securely link your account. There's a encryption ID that each account has for your account, like it goes on your device. So you have to specifically set up your LastPass, or I'll say 1Password because I know specifically how to white paper for 1Password. So 1Password, I have an account on each of my devices, so it's, you download that and it's that specific key for that account. And so you have to set it up on their computer, or that device, and then that's how it's, used to encrypt and decrypt. So I have 1Password on my phone and my computer, but you have to have that, I wouldn't be able to go to his computer and log into my 1Password very easily. It would, you would have to set up the account a little bit on it, so. it's not-
Again, adding two-factor authentication
Yeah,
is
basically.
another great layer of defense. I mentioned earlier that we use LastPass business-wide, and we've implemented this for some of our clients. So for instance, our admin staff have to be able to log into various administrative sites, while our tech staff need to be able to log into our clients' systems. So we create groups. We have our engineering staff, our technical staff, etc., and we designate the level of authority, so our admin people don't have access to our client passwords, and our tech staff doesn't have access to anything administrative that they don't need. So, wrapping up, be a little suspicious, report any suspicious activity, use good, strong, complex passwords. Oh, and also, by the way, LastPass has a password strength, right? So I don't actually use Kaspersky. I like the little analogy. No, it's a good point.
I just do that for a second.
But LastPass has a password, it will evaluate how complex your password is. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. And missing devices, right? So acting fast, like remember the slide that says it's typically 16 minutes to get infected and 30 minutes to notify IT. We have an employee who was in California doing some software training. When she was finished, she arrived at the airport, was walking towards the airport, watched the cab pull away with her cell phone. Right? So, not a big deal. She called our office. We disabled her account. We called Verizon and reported it missing, as well as we were able to remotely wipe company data off of her phone. So, report this stuff immediately. Questions? Yes?
It's a two-part question. Do you have security engineers on your team? Like when you're managing a company's IT and they ask for, security support, do you keep one on staff?
No.
Have you ever, hired one for like a project?
So, we are not cybersecurity experts.
Okay.
We are IT infrastructure support. That said, as I said in one of my slides, in today's threat landscape, every IT person has to be very security aware.
So what kind of questions do you use? Because, I'm a recruiter. What are some good questions to gauge if you have, the person that you're placing to go trust to work on somebody else's network knows what they're talking about, has a good baseline foundation?
So I would really look to their background, right? I'd want to read what they've done, as well as really talk with them. So for instance, if you were to ask me that question, I would say, well, when I began my career in the Boston area, I was working for an internet service provider, and I actually took one course, for instance, from John Costell. He was one of the early founders and creators of the internet, and I would read the RFCs, the request for comments.
Probably can
So-
Google those questions too.
So I can tell you how the TCP protocol works. I can tell you how ICMP works, right? It's, to me, I look for that deeper understanding of how the stuff works. It's surprising to me today when we get new young employees, they don't understand how the Ethernet protocol. They don't understand collision avoidance versus collision detection. It's kind of astonishing to me. So I look for really a depth. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so when we get these phishing emails, so what I've told people, I said, just delete it.
Yes.
Just delete it. Is that the best
Yes.
advice?
You gave me wisdom.
Jeff, you wanna delete it, then you delete it from the trash, so.
I
it's-
don't.
And then you clean out your trash once every 60 days.
Never.
Yeah.
That's just me, I never delete my emails. Don't care. Anybody else?
Going
Yes.
back to the logging into other venues, companies, restaurants, Wi-Fi,
Uh-huh.
how do you feel about that specific corporation tracking your data once you leave their network and go home? Your usage and.
Sure, so privacy is becoming a huge
Yeah,
topic.
data. It's
So
sort of money for.
I can tell you my personal philosophy on it is I'm not a real privacy advocate. I live my life as if pretty much what you see is what you get, and any email that I send, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Don't send those emails.
No, I mean in the fact like you go into, let's say, a big company and you jump on their Wi-Fi and they happen to have a Meraki server, which I've been told that it can track you once you go home on your Wi-Fi and your usage. And then they can use that data information for
Well,
the
data's-
marketing.
Data's
They-
money,
New resource.
data's money now, data is the new currency,
absolutely.
they get
Yeah.
so much money
So-
from your data, and that's the
Yeah.
whole mindset behind it, is that you're letting people for free use your data.
Oh, yeah, for sure, but it also, who's the person on the other side and how,
so I think that's
Legitimate are they?
that's something that everyone has to answer for themselves.
I always kind of tell people, create your own hotspots on your phone.
Your information, believe me, is out there. People know what you like, where you go,
Oh, for
what your
sure.
habits are, because
Yeah, social media, it's all data.
not
that's-
just
that's
social media,
shared.
just where you go, I mean, it's
We all
out there.
have routines, they can follow you on that, but just, I don't like the fact that if they do have this specific hardware, Meraki, you go home, they can track you. No, I'm using your Wi-Fi, track it there. I go home, this is.
So I say if that's important to you, then don't connect.
Yeah, no, I always tell people,
So-
create your own hotspot.
And think about on top of that, when 5G comes along,